Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me today as I share the fascinating story of the infamous MIT Blackjack team, a group of students who use their intellect to challenge the casino industry in an extraordinary way. Let's start back in the 1970s at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, a university known for its brilliant minds. It all started with a student named J.P. Masser. Masser became intrigued by card counting after reading a book on the subject and decided to see if he could apply it in real life. He began organizing blackjack games with friends at MIT, testing their skills in a low-stakes environment. But the project took a significant turn when Bill Kaplan joined the group. Kaplan, a Harvard MBA graduate, had already gained experience playing blackjack professionally in Las Vegas during his college years. With his expertise, he partnered with Masser to co-found the MIT Blackjack team. Together, they developed a system that relied on probability and advanced statistics to gain an edge over casinos. What began as a small experiment among students soon grew into a highly organized operation that would make history in the world of gambling. So how did the MIT Blackjack team manage to achieve such impressive results? It wasn't a matter of luck, it was a carefully coordinated effort that depended on specific roles within the team. First, they had spotters. These team members were responsible for sitting at the blackjack tables, placing small bets, and carefully counting the cards as they were dealt. Their job was to determine when the deck became favorable for players, when the odds shifted in their favor. Once they identified a hot deck, they would signal their teammates using discreet gestures such as adjusting their glasses or saying a prearranged word. That's when the big players would step in. The big players were the ones who placed large bets, taking advantage of the favorable odds the spotters had identified. They often presented themselves as wealthy high rollers to avoid drawing suspicion from casino staff. Finally, the team included the gorillas. The gorillas had a unique role. They acted as distractions. By placing erratic, high-stakes bets and behaving unpredictably, they drew attention away from the spotters and big players, allowing the team to operate more discreetly. This division of roles, spotters, big players, and gorillas, created a seamless system that maximized their chances of success while minimizing the risk of detection. Now let's explore the science that made the MIT Blackjack team so successful. Their strategy was built on a technique called card counting, specifically the high-low system, which is both straightforward and highly effective when used properly. So here's how it works. Each card in the deck is assigned a value. Low cards from 2 to 6 are given a value of +1. Middle cards 7 through 9 are neutral and worth 0. High cards, 10 through ace, are assigned as value of -1. As the cards are dealt, the player keeps a mental tally or a running count by adding or subtracting these values. For example, if a 4 is dealt, that's +1. If a king comes up, that's -1. A positive running count indicates that more high cards are left in the deck, which increases the player's chances of winning, especially with hands like blackjack. A negative count, on the other hand, suggests the deck favors the dealer. The MIT team's brilliance lay in their discipline. They placed small bets when the count was low or negative, then increased their wagers significantly when the count was in their favor. To avoid detection, they communicated using subtle signs like a tap on the table or a specific phrase, and often wore disguises to blend in with other casino patrons. This combination of mathematical precision and strategic execution allowed them to consistently beat the odds. It's a remarkable example of how applied mathematics can be used in real-world scenarios. One of the most intriguing aspects of the MIT Blackjack team's strategy was their ability to maintain undetected, and they achieved this by becoming masters of disguise. They understood that casinos were constantly watching for patterns in betting behavior, so they took great care to avoid standing out. For instance, they practiced disciplined betting. This was keeping their wagers small and consistent when the deck wasn't in their favor, then strategically increasing their bets when the odds improved. But it wasn't just about how they bet, it was also about how they presented themselves. Team members frequently changed their appearances to avoid recognition. They might wear wigs, glasses, or even different styles of clothing depending on the night. Their behavior would change too. One evening, a big player might act like a confident businessman, while the next they'd pose as a confused tourist. This adaptability was crucial for minimizing risk while maximizing their profits. It's almost like something out of a movie, literally. By constantly reinventing themselves, the MIT Blackjack team was able to stay one step ahead of the casinos, ensuring they could continue their operations without being caught. The result of their efforts were nothing short of astounding, and like all good stories, they must come to an end. The MIT Blackjack team earned millions of dollars in profits. Some estimates suggest they made over $10 million throughout their run. Their most successful period was during the 1980s and 1990s, and this is when they targeted casinos across the United States, from Las Vegas to Atlantic City. They treated their operation like a business, complete with investors who funded their trips, training sessions to perfect their card counting skills, and strict rules to maintain consistency across the team. One notable example of their success was a single weekend in Las Vegas where they reportedly walked away with $250,000 in winnings, which is an incredible achievement even for them. However, their success didn't come without significant challenges. As their reputation grew, casinos absolutely began to take notice. The team faced increasing scrutiny. They were followed by private investigators, questioned by casino staff, and often banned from properties. While card counting isn't illegal, casinos have the right to refuse service to anyone they suspect of using this technique. Now, some members were even detained for questioning, though they were careful to stay within the law. The pressure was immense and it took a toll on the team. Some members stepped away due to the stress, while others had to become even more creative to continue their work. It was a high stakes endeavor, and the challenges only intensified as time went on. Of course, the casinos weren't going to let a group of students continue to win without pushing back. The casinos eventually introduced a series of countermeasures to make card counting much more difficult. For example, they began shuffling the decks more frequently, even just after a few hands, to disrupt the team's ability to maintain an accurate count. They also started using multiple decks, often 6 or 8 at a time. This made it harder to track the cards effectively as well. Beyond these changes, casinos adopted new technology to identify card counters. They implemented facial recognition software to spot repeat players and created private databases to share information about suspected advantage players across different properties. If a player was flagged, they could be barred from entering any casino on that list. Their measures created significant obstacles for the MIT Blackjack team, but that didn't stop them entirely. The team adapted by refining their disguises, adjusting their strategies, and seeking out new casinos to target. It became a constant game of adaptation, with both the team and the casinos trying to outsmart each other. The MIT Blackjack team's success had a profound impact on the gaming industry as a whole. Their wins forced casinos to rethink their operations and implement new strategies to protect their profits. Again, the casinos introduced stricter policies such as increased surveillance and more frequent shuffles, and they invested in equipment like automatic shuffling machines to reduce the effectiveness of card counting. The team's activities also sparked broader discussions about the ethics of advantage play. Is card counting a form of cheating, or is it simply a skillful use of strategy? Legally, it's not considered cheating, but casinos argued that it undermined the spirit of the game. The story captured the public's imagination, leading to widespread media coverage. Books like Bringing Down the House by Ben Mesrick and the 2008 film 21 brought the team's story to a global audience, turning them into cultural icons. However, this increased attention and also made their work more difficult, as casinos became even more vigilant. Ultimately, the MIT Blackjack team exposed vulnerabilities in the casino industry, demonstrating that even a multi-billion-dollar business could be challenged by a group of determined students. To wrap the story up, The MIT Blackjack's team's story is a remarkable example of what can be achieved through intellect, teamwork, and perseverance. They weren't just playing a game, they were innovating using mathematics and strategy to take on one of the most powerful industries in the world. They earned millions, outsmarted the odds, and left a lasting legacy that continues to influence the gaming industry today. Their journey shows us the power of applied knowledge and the importance of adaptability in the face of challenges. As students, I think we can all appreciate the ingenuity it took to pull this off. And finally, here on my last slide, you'll find the references I used to put this presentation together. These sources provided invaluable insights into the MIT Blackjack team's strategies, their impact on the gaming industry, and the broader ethical debates surrounding their methods. I've included a mix of articles, news reports, and analysis to give a well-rounded view of their story. I encourage you to take a closer look into learning about this fascinating topic. Thank you for listening to me. I truly enjoyed researching and sharing their story with you, and I hope you found it as inspiring as I did.